There are no more damn excuses. No more. You don't have any more excuses, Nacho. Oh yeah, because this is Nacho, guys. This is Nacho that is the ringleader, trying his damnness, praying to God that his charge, Juan Marquez, doesn't get in the ring with Timothy Desert Storm Bradley. Okay? Look, man, first off, I want to give shots out to Marquez, regardless, you know what, for real, regardless if Marquez is only confident, in fighting Bradley because Bradley looked, vulnerable in his last fight, regardless if that's the reason or not. When I listened to how Nacho was talking, Nacho, he's still doing articles where he's saying, I don't want the Bradley fight. I don't want the Bradley fight. But the problem now is there are no more excuses. There are no more excuses. So this makes Marquez look a lot better because his trainer still doesn't have confidence that his fighter can beat Bradley. I mean, let's face it, guys. Let's face it. Nacho does not have confidence that his fighter can beat Tim Bradley. Okay? And you guys, like I said, you can go back and you can watch the videos I did on my old channel, Dante562. The channel was still active. I made 2 videos very recently, probably about, 3 weeks ago to a month, I guess, on my other channel. And I made 2 videos talking about Marquez and Nacho. Why are they ducking Bradley? Right? Why are they ducking Bradley? Like I said, man, the whole thing is there are no more excuses. About a month before Bradley fought Provetnikov, Nacho's excuse then was, he's a stinky, boring fighter, and we want to give the fans, the Mexican fans, action and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So now he says this, but now after Bradley just fucking has a candidate of fight of the year, you can no longer say that anymore. You can no longer say that anymore, right? And even the fans, even when it comes to the fans, I mean, what excuses are you going to make? Seriously, what excuses are you going to make? Huh? You're going to try, what you going to say? You're going to say, it's because Bradley, he doesn't do numbers. That's already been debunked. HBO already released that Bradley is one of the highest viewed, fighters on the network on a non-pay-per-view fight, right? You have to understand something. The numbers that Bradley did was extremely impressive. The reason why they were impressive is because Bradley did not have a co-star. He was fighting against a relatively unknown fighter from ESPN that no one really knew about. Okay? He didn't have a co-star like Brandon Rios had against Mike Alvarado. Bradley didn't have a built-in Mexican fan base like Brandon Rios did. Bradley didn't have a first fight to build, off of, right? This was proof that people tuned in to fight. People tuned in to watch Tim Bradley specifically. Regardless if you tuned in to watch him win or lose, people tuned in to watch Tim Bradley. So the numbers excuse doesn't even work anymore. The numbers excuse doesn't work anymore. And furthermore, we know these excuses are so ridiculous because if Marquez fought some relatively bum unknown, you guys wouldn't sit over here and say, oh man, why is he fighting that guy? The numbers aren't going to do well. That guy doesn't even do numbers. Marquez was talking about, they was possibly thinking about fighting Sincheco, who I know right now when I say that name, a lot of people don't even know who that is, Sincheco, right? Marquez was talking about fighting Jesse Vargas, right? Jesse Vargas, a lot of people don't know who he is. So don't give me these ridiculous ass excuses. Any guy fighting on HBO, right? Fighting prime time, by the way. Oh yeah, because Tim Bradley, he wasn't fighting on Boxing After Dark like Brandon Rios versus Alvarado. He was fighting prime time against a no one, and he still did big numbers. You're gonna sit here and you're gonna sit here and tell me with a straight face that all of these Marquez fans, all of these Pacquiao fans would not tune in and pay for a pay-per-view fight with Marquez against Bradley, you would be a damn lie. Because you know it wouldn't be true. And if you say that, you're saying it because you're speaking with pride and heart. Because once again, your pride in your heart does not want to believe that my guy is afraid to fight somebody. My guy, why would my guy? Because that's all you're thinking with is pride. You know? It doesn't even register in your heart to even think that one of my guys would be afraid. And, we ain't never scared and blah, blah this and blah, blah that. Ain't nothing but heart and pride. That's all that is. That's all that is. Okay? We can no longer use the excuses anymore. Is he a stinky, boring fighter? We know the answer to that. Okay? He was just involved in Canada the Fight of the Year. Tim Bradley was. All right? So, I mean, the whole thing is, Nacho Beristain, he knows. Okay? Nacho Beristain, he knows. Because Nacho is he's an intelligent trainer. Nacho believes in the sweet science, hit and not be hit. And that's the reason why his fighter is so good. Okay? I mean, think about it. When's the last time you guys seen a straight up brawler crack the top 10 pound for pound best in the world? The top 5. You haven't seen it in almost decades. Why? Because soon as them dudes step up and fight against an elite stage boss, they end up losing relatively easy. Right? I mean, let's just break down Marquez real quick. Once again, I don't give a damn if you get your feelings hurt. I mean, you could cry until you fucking fill up your damn keyboard with fucking teardrops and electrocute yourself for all I care. If you don't want to see this video, if you don't want to hear it, just don't press play. But don't sit there crying, sending me messages because you're not hearing what you want to hear. Let's break down Marquez real quick. All right? Look, man, Marquez, realistically, if you look at all of his fights, Marquez has seldomly ever been completely dominant against the fighters that he has faced. I really can't think of any fight where he was fighting against even just a decent name and he was dominant. I mean, you go back and you look at fights against Mike Katsidas, against Juan Baby Boy Diaz. These are type of opponents that an intelligent fighter is supposed to run right through and beat easy. Marquez, he struggled against those guys. None of those performances were dominant, right? Let's look at some more performances. Chris John, Derek Gainer, Freddie Norwood, okay? Juan Marquez was not dominant in any of these fights, right? I mean, let's just be real about it. Let's just think. Now, in contrast, let's look at Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley against Devin Alexander, against Casamayor, against Luis Abregu, against Kendall Holt, against Nate Campbell, right? Everyone except for the Manny Pacquiao fight, all of those fights have been dominant performances by Tim Bradley. Okay? And for those of you who want to bring up the Kendall Holt situation, just understand something. Tim Bradley, he got knocked down in that fight. And he got up and he won almost every single round. Complete dominant performance, right? Nacho is not a dummy. Nacho, he wants no part of Tim Bradley because Nacho knows that Marquez has had problems with boxers. Hell, Marquez has even had problems with dumb fighters who come in face first. This is why it's ridiculous to me if Marquez struggled against Freddie Norwood. And Marquez fans, you could go ahead and you could say, oh, Marquez won that fight. You could say that, that's fine. That's fine. You could say Marquez won the fight. But one thing you cannot say is Marquez dominated the fight. Because he didn't dominate the fight. Okay? It was a razor thin fight. He got knocked down for the first time in his career. He knocked down Freddie Norwood. It was a razor thin chess match. I will agree the fight could have went either way. But the point that I am making is it was not a dominant performance, right? You go back and you watch Marquez against Derek Gainer, who at the time was already on a losing streak. It was just put in the ring as an opponent. Marquez, he knocked Derek Gainer out, I think, around the 8th or the 9th round. But the fact of the matter is Marquez struggled against Derek Gainer. He struggled against Chris John. He wasn't even in the fight against Floyd Mayweather. Once again, and I'll talk about this as much as I have to, right? You guys can make excuses for why Marquez lost. But answer this. What is your excuse for why Marquez lost every single round? You can't use an excuse for that. You cannot use an excuse for that. Okay? So it's just ridiculous after Marquez has already got outboxed by Freddie Norwood, Chris John. He struggled against Derek Gainer. He was losing to Casamayor until he knocked out Casamayor in like the 10th or the 11th round. And yet you're going to sit here and say the only reason he lost to Floyd Mayweather, a guy who's 10 times better than the people that Marquez struggled against? You're going to sit here and tell me with a straight damn face that's the only reason why he won. Get the hell out of here. That ain't nothing but damn pride and heart talking. That's all that is. All right? This, like I said, the bottom line is if Marquez is fighting against a Tim Bradley that's 100%, Marquez loses that fight. And Nacho knows it. You know, I'm just sick of the ridiculous comments I got. You know, what has happened since I made my last video about Nacho, wanting no part of Bradley, it proves that I was right all along. Like I said, you have no legitimate excuse why Marquez won't take this fight, right? So the bottom line is, man, hopefully Marquez takes the fight. I'm just sick of all these damn double standards. You're okay to see see this dude duck somebody, but then when it comes to other fighters, you want to accuse them of ducking people who ain't even in their damn division. It's just a ridiculous, double standard when it comes to this sport of boxing. All right, so that's really all I got to say about this fight. Hopefully the fight gets made, and we see a terrific performance. May the best man win is how I see it. And just one more thing before I go, man. I want to make sure I bring this up. For the people who send me messages and you want to debate boxing, I'm all cool with that. It's nothing better than a cool debate. But if you're going to debate with me, guys, at least debate with things that the actual boxer or the trainer said. At least argue with quotes that were said. Don't come at me with your own opinion of why things are the way they are. Because if we go back and forth just using our opinion, then we're not going to get anywhere. Let's talk with established facts, right? Nacho Beristain says, I don't want to fight him because he's a stinking fighter. And then you send me a message and say, oh, well, the reason why Marcus doesn't want to fight him is because the money. See, the money is not there and this and that. No, man. You need to tell me, if you want to debate something, go off of what was actually said. Don't try to come up with something that makes you personally feel comfortable, like you sitting there thinking for a while, damn, I gotta figure out, there has to be a reason why my guy wouldn't fight this dude. Oh, I know, it must be because of this. No. Let's debate with facts. Okay? When I quote what people say, these are what they actually said. These things are what they said. I don't really exaggerate what Nacho said, what Marquez said, etc., etc. So do the same thing, or else there's no reason to have a debate, because all you're doing is throwing on pom-poms and you're cheerleading for your fighter, right? And you might as well do that in the stands or at home when you're watching the fight. Ain't no reason to try to talk to someone who is really, really talking boxing, all right? So that's it, y'all. On to the next one.